All right, guys, today we have a real special guest in the house. He's a survivor, been through so much in his life, been in this music industry for so many years, and worked with some of the biggest names. I'm talking about the one, the only Temperamento. How you doing today, bro?
I'm doing good, man. Thank you for having me on, bro. It's an honor.
Thank you so much, man. I'm feeling blessed just to have you here. So I like to do my interviews in chronological order so I can help the people understand who you are, where you came from, and how you got to where you are today. I saw on YouTube you don't have that many interviews, right?
Nah, I don't do a lot of interviews. I'm just that type of person. I love doing interviews in like face to face, but we're living in a different time, so I'm trying to do as much as I can.
So where were you born?
I was born in Puerto Rico. I was born in 1981 in Ponce, Puerto Rico. I grew up in the first projects that were built in Ponce, so grew up in the hood over there, and with a mother and a father. My mother was married to my dad, and yeah, man, that's where my story started. With my dad. My dad was a alcoholic. He had a gambling problem. He ended up committing suicide in '89, and that's what brought me over here to the U.S. was after his passing.
So at that time, you're coming up in the '80s. Did you grow up with any siblings?
Yeah. So one sister and two brothers.
You the oldest or the youngest?
I was the youngest. I was the baby.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
But before we get into your relationship with your parents, I want to talk about Puerto Rico and what you remember there. Help paint what Puerto Rico was like during that time. Walking the streets, like the things that you would see.
Yeah, so I was only there until I was 9, but man, it's crazy when I think back of like Puerto Rico and the moments that I remember. I'll be honest with you. I remember Michael Jackson. I remember the first time I saw the video Thriller, which to me at that time, I thought it was a scary movie. So every time I saw the video, I thought I was watching a movie every single time. I'm like, man, like my parents really love this scary movie, man. Like, what's up with this? I remember him. I remember the first time I heard Hector Lavoe. I remember definitely the violence because I lived in the projects. There was always beef with people around, in Ponce, and people would come there and like, a lot of back then there used to be a lot of fist fights. You know what I'm saying? People used to like respectfully fight, and like, your grandma be there, and I used to see dudes fight, and like if dude dropped on the floor, the other one would wait till he get up, and then they'll shake their hands and go home. And then it kind of started changing where if there was a beef, people would show up with the guns, and crazy as a little kid, it was like, always seeing somebody dead. I had my out the window from my bedroom was the basketball court, and in the 9 years that I was in Puerto Rico, I saw maybe like 4 or 5 dead bodies and like 2 shootings happen while looking out that window.
Wow. And do you know if it was like over drugs or it was just like territory? What was it about?
Yeah, I remember one of them was these dudes where they were just drunk and started getting into a fight, and they were literally, one was like in one pole on one side of basketball, the pole, and the other one was on the other side, and these dudes were shooting at each other. It was like a Western movie. Boom, 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 boom. And I remember one of them got hit. Everybody ran home. The other one, it was a dude that he did something to a girl, and the whole neighborhood from the other neighborhood came along, and the dudes from my projects just straight up like were like, "Hey, we can't do nothing about this," and they let homeboys shoot them up right there. The other ones, I just remember seeing their bodies, people screaming. I didn't see it with my own eyes, but I do remember that guy. He must have did something to a young girl, and they came through, and bro, it was like AK-47s or something. Like they lit them up.
So you're a little child at this time and you're witnessing all of this happen. How are you processing it? Like is it like, are you scared at the time? How are you feeling?
Nah, man. It's like when you're young and you see that stuff, it's like you're like in shock. You're seeing everybody's reaction, but nobody's turning around and telling you, hey, this is what this is. I didn't know what death was until my dad, that happened to my dad where he took his life. And even then, at the funeral and things like that, it was like, I was just like a little boy in shock, kind of not understanding what death was. So it was different than what I would experience now.
So you never had any conversations with your parents like, "Hey, what is going on? Like, what am I witnessing here?"
Nah, man, nah. It seemed like it was normal to them, so nobody ever told me what was going on.
Wow, that's crazy, man.